Hey folks, adjusting my volume here real quick to bring the music down a little and bring my voice up some. Hopefully that's going to have good balance. So let's check in on that real quick. Check. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. All right, well, we're going to let that go. Let me drop that volume down before we drive ourselves insane with the gibbering. And then let me fix I'm doing some quick posts on social media here, which will be done in a hot second. And then we'll get started. So let's drop this out of the way. Hey guys, what's up? I've been sick over the weekend, so I didn't have an opportunity to stream Strixhaven on Saturday morning like I intended to. Instead, I slept a whole lot, so la-di-da. And I slept this morning as well instead of doing my Eberron artwork like I normally would. But I'm anticipating going back to my normal schedule starting tomorrow morning with more Eberron art, and then we have the holiday on Thursday this week, so I won't be having a Thursday night design stream either because I'll spending the holiday probably with family and friends. So don't anticipate seeing me on Thursday either. So, but otherwise, I'll be here tomorrow and Wednesday and Friday and Saturday, like usual, moving forward. So, what are we doing today, guys? We are further developing the Strixhaven Mage Tower combat mechanics for us to play, basically rugby, death ball, Mage Tower, however you want to call it. Basically playing rugby in D&D using 5e combat action economy as athletes casting spells, using powers and all your character abilities to try to score points on the enemy goal, which you can either do by outmaneuvering your opponents and then hitting the goalpost, which we'll walk through the mechanics of that, or killing the rival team and then just nonchalantly walking over and scoring a point. So it'll work either way. All the damage is temporary, so you can TPK at each other as much as you want, or you can switch up your strategy of dealing damage, and if you can kill somebody, great, one less opponent on the board, and then go score your point. When you score the point, all the temporary hit point is drained off, and everyone's back at 100% again. So you can bash at each other as much as you want and won't actually kill anybody. So one of the main reasons I'm creating this in the first place is because people like to do arena battles, like make a 20th level character and let's all fight to see who is the best. But one of the things that we most often hear in combat advice in D&D is to create alternate win conditions, so that it isn't just kill your enemy. And the epitome of that is the one-shot 20th level, do nothing else with the character other than build it to kill everyone else. And let's see how much of a slog that is, because boy god, those are boring as fuck. So I've participated in a number of those since first edition, and they're boring as hell. So this is a method of sport, so that you could kill each other, but the real goal is to score more points than the enemy. If you kill them to score those points, super. Otherwise, however efficiently you can score points, you're going to win the match. So you have those two strategies. The only real goal is score a point, but there's alternate ways you can go about scoring that point, including killing each other. You see how that kind of flips the script on how combat normally goes? Normally combat is let's kill them. Now it's very much killing is just a light option that's available to you, but you want to use your combat action economy on a round-to-round basis to be able to approach, take shots, deflect shots, block out people from being able to take shots on your goal. So we should be walking through those mechanics today, and if we have time and I have the energy, I'm still a little sick, so if we still have the energy at the end of it, we will then progress with looking at some of the characters. I've got 4 athletes built currently as NPC athletes at 6th level, which is where we're starting our playtesting this Saturday on my Discord server. And just to catch up, people, thanks a lot for hanging out with me, guys. And B, thank you, new subscribers. If you think this shit's cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. I do artwork Monday through Friday in the morning. All the books that I create, I do my own artwork in. So I design books, I illustrate them, and then I publish them. I've got about maybe 2 years worth of D&D 5e books in me that I'll be publishing on the DMsGuild, and after that, I think I'll sufficiently scratch that itch of satisfying that boyhood dream of creating D&D content using D&D IPs. I think at the end of the cycle, I'll flushed most of that out of my system. But if you want to see a number of the books that I've already created on the DMsGuild, here's a stack of books. They all have free previews. They're chock full of my art and ideas. They all have 100% free preview. If you think they're cool, consider buying them to support similar behavior in the future. Or you can, support me. Here's Patreon. You can support me on Patreon if you would like. God bless you if you do. We're going to be doing the Mage Tower playtesting in my voice chat on Discord community here. And so like, subscribe, blah de blah, and let's keep getting. Yeah. And so the rules for Mage Tower are here. It's a Google Doc. It'll be a read-only document for you. But this is the document that we're working inside of today, which I've already plucked out as a separate string. And the athletes that we're building are using the Color Mana Spell Point variant rules and martial power system that we've been developing here on stream for, I guess, 2 years now. It's coming along really fucking nice, but it's a slow everything I do is super slow grind. It's just me creating the ideas, running the play tests, DMing and playing the stuff, and then doing all the book design and writing and layouts and artwork and publishing. So it's a super long process of me basically going through ideation, creation, testing, and then production and publication. And there's a pretty long timeline that goes on with all that stuff. But I do a lot of it here on, a ton of it here on stream with you guys, just to basically walk along the process with me. And when I get into the artwork of it, that's my daily grind. So Monday through Friday, I do the artwork for whatever book is being published. And it's a great opportunity just for me to shoot the shit with everybody and to have a relaxing coffee morning and to get into my day. So, and then I do a lot of my design work in the evenings and when I'm off screen. So, so the martial power system, it converts all the characters, all 14, including the Scion, all 14 character classes, into a mana system that can use the 5 color manas for Magic the Gathering: white, blue, black, red, green. And you can use that mana to cast spells or to channel powers. I'm a big 3E enthusiast. I've been playing since 1987. But I love first and second edition. I love first edition. Okay, so I love Beckme, the box set, because that's the first thing I experienced, and holy crap, that was awesome. The red box is probably the best intro to D&D that you could ever ask for. It's a really great walkthrough and super inspiring. And then first edition happens, and that exploded the idea of what you can do with characters, and that was exciting. And second edition wasn't a big change from first edition, but they introduced all these awesome campaign settings like Spelljammer, Dark Sun, Planescape, Hollow World. Those are the biggies for me. And then third edition, when WotC took over, completely rebuilt it so that building a character was more like, it focused away from the characters being a basically in-game user interface for the players to execute their ideas. WotC converted it more into a deck-building game with permission instead of imagination as the base default of if you want to do something, there's a mechanic to it. And the characters that you build manipulate or break those mechanical rules to make their characters supernatural or cool or whatever, spellcasting, blah, blah, blah. So that was a huge innovation that turned building your character not into just a way for you to engage with reality inside the game space, but instead to build mechanics that let you break the game or win the game or perform a certain function inside of your team. And then 3.5 happened, and they continued to expand on that idea, with the last book that they published being Martial Powers, which created an alternate magic system that gave the martial characters all the same level of resources, like daily resources that can be expended, and selection of options to do supernatural things with that resource. So when we created the color mana system back in 2017, early days of the DMsGuild, to provide a Magic the Gathering magic system for characters playing Magic the Gathering campaigns, which eventually became Ravnica, Theros, Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos, which is what we're operating inside of today with Mage Tower. And then they just released, what was it? Bloomborough? No. The face setting. I can't remember the name of it. It was basically like a domain of delight or something. Anyway, pretty insignificant. No, it wasn't really a campaign. It was just some fake character options. So they've only really had 3 major MTG campaigns that they've converted from Magic the Gathering into D&D, but they didn't create a mana system so that when you're playing these settings, you don't feel like you're playing Magic the Gathering. You're just playing D&D in those worlds. So we wanted to create a color mana system that would allow you to, tap red mana to cast Fireball or whatever, and have that color mana system with the mana tapping. And so that's we rebuilt the color mana system, which is available on the DMsGuild already right here. It's a complete system for all the spellcasters, but we didn't have an option for the martial characters. So the martial power system that we've been developing here on screen over the past 2 years, I've been playtesting in my Discord, is to create that martial power system from 3rd edition using the color mana paradigm that we had already built as half-casters, so that the game, and if you want to use this in Magic the Gathering, every character in the game are either half-casters or full casters. So everyone is wielding a mana pool to be able to do cool supernatural effects. It just happens to work really well outside of the MTG settings without necessarily just using ki, or mana, without having to have a color identity tied to it. You could just use the normal 8 schools of Magic if you wanted to, and just generic spell points using the system, and it's still very effective. But for anyone that's had any experience with color mana, knows that the color mana paradigm is incredibly expressive and very fun to narrate, to just use literal color cues to describe magical effects, and for that to have an actual mechanical meaning inside of the game. So that's a lot of fun. I'm just rearranging my screens here real quick. Get that out of the way here. So the Strixhaven system, the way that Strixhaven is presented as a setting is, it's basically Harry Potter for Magic the Gathering, right? It's just let's take that idea and make a new IP that's MTG based, and now we have basically Harry Potter. There you go. And instead of having Quidditch, they have Mage Tower, and so it's basically like Magic Rugby. So with the use of the martial powers system, we can take the idea of Strixhaven as a university, instead of it being just a place where you go to learn magic and how to cast spells and to research spells for yourself. It expands to being a university that teaches people how to wield mana, whether as spell casting with spells or through channeling powers as martials. So now barbarians have every reason to be at Strixhaven as a wizard does. Because if that barbarian wants to learn how to wield their Gruul magic of red-green, for instance, or their Rakdos magic of red-green, of red-black, for instance, then you can go to Strixhaven and learn to develop your mana and gain access to higher ranks of power before you graduate and head on. So Strixhaven being a place where all 14 character classes with all 5 colors can go identify, build, and grow, with Mage Tower being a narrative idea inside of the card game to create some instant land card effects within some enchantments. It's kind of like a flavor. You know, your university, here's the sport that you play here, Mage Tower. But in the Strixhaven game, in the Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos, the campaign that was created for play with D&D, they didn't have any kind of mana mechanics. They don't have these ideas available, so they make Mage Tower. Playing a game of Mage Tower is a skill challenge, where everybody rolls whatever ability check that they want to express how they play the game, like a spell casting check to exemplify them wielding magic to try to move the ball or block shots and stuff. And like the barbarian would use an athletics roll to like hike the ball down the field or whatever. Basically, everyone on the team makes one ability check and add up their results, and then the enemy team each makes one ability check with whatever kind of ability check that they want. Cheers. And they add up all their results, and whichever number is higher wins. And like if you want to divide that total by 5, that would be your final score of Team 1 versus Team 2. It's an ability check. It takes one die roll, and everyone makes a die roll, and you're done with the match. And then so take this idea and couple it with my intro here, which was I wanted to create a system that gave us means of having arena combat without having to necessarily have killing each other be the goal. Create alternate win conditions in one-shot 20th level playtesting to see what kind of crazy characters you can make to defeat other players' ideas. And instead of making it just, I'm going to kill you, you're going to kill me, who wins first, it's make it a sport, so the actual win condition is scoring goals. And if killing your enemy is the way that you're going to guarantee that you can score a goal, then great, go ahead and kill the goalie if you can. But if you can take the ball away from you, you'll definitely need to kill him or get that ball away. Otherwise, the enemy, your team is going to score a point. And then all that damage that you dealt gets neutralized and gets reset. Because every time you score a goal, everyone resets. And you don't get your mana back, but all the temporary hit points drain. Because it's just temporary hit point damage. You're not actually killing each other. You're just beating each other up in the arena. So what I want to do is start, since we've already played some matches, and we're going to continue doing that every weekend on Saturdays, starting this weekend at 9:30 a.m. Seattle time, PST minus 8 UTC. I only need at least 2 players to show up for me to be able to run a match of Mage Tower. 2 players versus 2 NPCs. If you have 3 people show up, it could either be 2v2, where the DM gets to play. So it'd be 2 players and player and DM. And since the rules are the rules, we're trying to build the rules so that you don't actually need a DM to play the game at all. It just runs itself. It's just all we have to do is just keep initiative order. Even the ball movement can be randomized so that the DM never has to make a decision unless there's a gray area. And then if one, hopefully, will be able to resolve all the gray areas so that in the playtesting, so that it doesn't come up, so we automatically know what the rule is. But if we had, like, say 4 players, then the DM could just act as a referee and keep moving things forward, and it would just be a 2v2 match. Or it could be a 4v4 where there's 4 players playing against the DM running a team of 4 players. But I'm finding the action economy, running combat of 8 actual characters instead of like a DM rolling 10 goblins versus 4 heroes is different from 4 heroes against 4 heroes all using the same action economy. So I think the optimal size for running teams is 2 or 3 people. I think we could tolerate up to 4. So we'll see how that goes. I'm thinking about a couple different modes of play. This might not be the order that I want to put these things. We already have a bunch of rules down here, but I'm going to be rebuilding them, because now that we've ran some games, we have a good sense of what works, what doesn't work, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, blah. So, and there's not a lot of rules to it. It's pretty fucking simple. So hopefully we'll be able to keep it simple but exact, so that there's no, again, so it's very black and white. There's no gray areas about what the actual rules of like this Magic Rugby. Mage Tower is basically Magic Rugby. There's so the idea is that we have the arena here. These are 5-foot squares. We have a goalpost here, and we have a goalpost here. This is the tower. And this is a elevate. So this is like on a dais, and each of these lines represents 5 feet of elevation. That's difficult terrain to climb. So let me grab a pin here real quick, just to give you guys a look at what this looks like. So we have our goalpost here, right? And it's there, goalpost, and it's on the dais. And then 5 feet out from that is 5 feet down. So we're basically looking at an elevation like this. And then another 5 feet out is another 5 feet down like this. And then you have the arena. Transform. Flip. There you go. Merge down. There we go. And our character at the 5 feet here, right? Okay, so here's your half court. The ball, so there's a ball that roams around, and the ball effectively is it's a Odalux indestructible sphere, right? And or resilient sphere. It's a ball of force, like a hamster ball, and it's only going to be like the size of a rugby ball. And it's going to have a pest. In Magic the Gathering in Strixhaven, there's a 0/1 creature called a pest, which is if you sacrifice the pest, it acts as a food token, and food tokens restore in Magic in the card game. It restores 1 hit point when you consume a food token. So you can basically take this centipede creature and eat it, and it will give you a hit point back. So in Strixhaven, the ball of force has this pest centipede in it, and it knows it's food. So if you aren't holding the ball, it's loose. It's going to actively try to run away from everybody. So your job is to pick up the ball, and the ball itself is treated as a creature because there's a pest inside of it. It's treated as an object because it's inside of an indestructible ball. It weighs less than 5 pounds for telekinesis and other effects like that matter for like light weapons. Is like it counts as a light weapon, so you can use dexterity as a thrown weapon attack. You can make melee weapon attacks with it as well. You're going to use the ball as a weapon to attack the goalpost, and if you can hit the goalpost, you score a point. If you hit the goalpost and deal damage to it, you score a goal. So for you to be able to, if you have like say a character that is acting as a goalie in front of the goal here, you're on difficult terrain, and if like say I've got this is the ball has a range of 20 feet normal range, which is here, and 40-foot long range. So you can only throw the ball 40 feet away. The ball always travels 40 feet when you throw it. So if you're inside of the normal range and you throw the ball at the goal and you don't score a point and it's not caught, it will then continue to the end of 20 points, 40 feet, and it'll end up landing here on the other side of the goalpost. So then someone's going to have to come around and pick up the ball and then take another shot. But if it's like, say, the striker's turn and the goalie here is using their reaction to try to block the shot, like to catch it. And how would you do that? Well, if I am positioned here, and for that ball to hit this post, it has to leave my area, it has to leave my reach and end up, I would have to be, as a goalie, I would need to be here. So if it leaves my reach on the way to the goalpost, I could then make an opportunity attack to attempt to catch the ball as a grapple check. And a grapple in D&D 2024, grappling is I attempt to grapple you because I spend my action economy, and instead of making an attack roll or something, you, the person I'm trying to grapple, must make a dexterity or a strength saving throw. And if you fail the saving throw, I have grappled you. Well, the ball always fails any grappling check. So if the ball gets shot past you within your reach towards the goalpost, you can use your opportunity attack to automatically catch and grapple the ball. You now have control of the ball, and you could throw it to somebody else that's within 40 feet of you. Or if no one is, you can start running with the ball yourself away from the goal towards the enemy post and take a shot yourself. I could either run literally up to the goalpost and make a melee attack against it, or anywhere within long range at disadvantage, make a thrown weapon attack. So it's less than 5 pounds. It's considered a light weapon. So you can use dexterity or strength to throw it. It's a light weapon. So if your rogue somehow has advantage, you can use sneak attack to attack the goalpost, because not only do you have to hit the goalpost, which only has an armor class 10, you're probably going to hit it, but you also have to deal damage to it. So if you have, like, say, a monk that is defending the goal, I could just catch the shot, and now I now have control of the ball, and we're going to move over to your goal and try to take a shot that way. But if you're doing a ranged attack, I can use my deflect attack option as a monk to try to reduce the damage that you would deal to the goalpost to 0. And if I do, I catch the weapon and I can throw it to somebody else within 60 feet of me, because that's how deflect attacks works. Any target from a thrown attack, any target that's within 60 feet, I can retarget the shot towards. And in this case, it would be I throw the shot to my ally, who then automatically can catch the ball and then run with it. So having a monk defender is a great idea. But there's also feats like interception and protector, and there's like the warning bond spell that reduces damage. The ball and the goal are both considered objects, allies, enemies, and creatures. So like if I wanted to cast Warning Bond on the goalpost as a cleric defender, any damage being dealt to the goalpost is going to be reduced to half, potentially down to 0. So I could potentially absorb damage for the goalpost and cause your attack to become nothing. Like if I were to use, if I had Warding Bond on the goalpost and I had a monk on the team, or the Interceptor feat, I think that's the one that allows you to take damage on behalf of your ally. Well, your Warding Bond and Protector feat allows you to half the damage and then soak the rest of the damage as a goalie. So like a tanky paladin would make a good goalie. An Abjurist or a white mana wizard would make a good goalie, because they have the Warding Bond, and then they also have the bond, like at 6th level, to get the Warding Ally, where they dump mana to give you hit points of damage that get absorbed. If you could put temporary hit points on the goalpost, you have to first get through the temporary hit points to actually deal damage to the goalpost. So if I had a Twilight Cleric that was putting 12 temporary hit points on the goalpost as a bonus action, my striker now has to do at least 13 points of damage, 12 to get through the temporary hit points, and the 1 extra hit point to actually deal damage to the goalpost, assuming that isn't neutralized somehow. So there's a lot of meta that goes on with how you're building your characters, what their abilities are, and what strategies are they using to protect the goal from taking damage, and how are they going to be able to approach and deal damage to the goalpost themselves. So there's a ton of meta strategy and group synergy that can be created that we can mess around with inside of the game. We just got to lock down the rules so that that they're consistent enough that we remove any kind of variables of gray areas, like what would happen in this circumstance. So that's basically the rules in a nutshell. So now we're going to break them down again. So we've already built out most of these rules. We only take up, what, 1, 2, basically 3 pages, and then we have a list of banned stuff that we can't use. And then we have the arena map, and then we have some sample athletes that we've already created. So I'm going to see if we can rebuild these rules. Given that we've already done some play testing and I've had time to mull it over, I'm not even going to look at these rules. I'm going to just rebuild them from scratch with you guys. So what do we need to talk about? We need to talk about the arena. We need to talk about the ball. Let's go with the goalposts. We need to talk about the ball. We need to talk about the athletes. And we need to talk about, let's see, what is it? Rounds, action economy. The athletes, movement. Yeah, sure, let's do that. Movement, scoring. Scoring points and ban list. That's basically what we're looking at right now. So let's see if we can break these things down logically to make that work. The arena, see map below. Arena is within a arena is surrounded by wall of force, impossible to go out of bounds. Ceiling is 40 feet, which is the distance that you can throw the ball. So you can fly up to 40 feet, that's fine. Let's see, ceiling is 40 feet. It's 210 feet? Let's see, there's, arena is surrounded by a wall of force, impossible to go out of bounds. Ceiling is 40 feet high. The arena, is considered a spell casting focus for casting athletes. That way you don't have to worry about bringing material components in with you, because you can't bring anything in with you other than your uniform. It's like weapons, armor, shields. You don't use any of that stuff. You can still deal damage, and we have lots of ways for you to deal damage if you're martial characters. But spellcasters will have access to catapult as a cantrip, but otherwise would use their spell repertoire to impact opponents and allies' behavior and opportunities and options and movement and stuff like that. So that's the arena. Let's see, 210 feet wide, feet long, and 50 feet wide? I don't know why I'm scrolling down. I can just flip the page. I don't know why that happened. Hold on. Oh, because I was on the wrong screen. Let's resize that. This is where I want to be. Thank you. What is this? 210 feet long and 125 feet wide. Half court at 105 feet. The ball. Timing is another thing. The goalpost, the ball, the athletes, scoring points, time, scoring points, time, movement, scoring points, and ball, and ban list. That's probably all we're going to need. The ball, a pest within an Odalux resilient sphere. Tiny size, less than 5 LBS. Always first. Tiny size, less than 5 pounds. Considered to be an object, creature, ally, or enemy based on what your abilities are. Should be an object, creature, ally, or enemy for interaction. Light, thrown, weapon, light finesse weapon with a range of 20-40, deals bludgeoning, deals 1 point of bludgeoning damage. All damage is temporary, of course. Inside the arena, all damage is temporary. Cannot be damaged or dispelled. What else do we need to make note of? As a creature, it always acts first in initiative. That's important because if the ball at the beginning of when it's the ball's turn, which is always at the beginning of a next round, if it isn't held by anybody, it's going to try to run away. Because it doesn't want to get eaten. So it thinks it's going to get eaten, so it's going to try to run away. So it always goes first on initiative, and it'll always run in a random direction, and its speed is 10 feet, so it'll take the dash action to move up to 20 feet in a random direction. As a creature, it always acts first in initiative. This cannot be swapped or modified. If the ball is not held, it attempts to flee in a random direction. Roll 1d8. The only action the ball can take is move and dash, 10 feet each. If the ball is not held, it attempts to flee in a random direction. Roll 1d8. If the ball is targeted with a spell effect, grappling, attacked, grappling, etc., it automatically fails its saving throw. The ball can be picked up if the ball is not, let's see how to word taking the ball. Yeah, I think we do need to mention this. Let's see. I'm trying to talk about taking possession of the ball. Let's go with ball traits. There. If the sound volume's off, let me know. I think the sound volume is probably going to be okay. But I never know until someone says something. But hopefully the sound balance is good. Let's see. Taking possession of the ball. As a creature. Let's see. Let's see. During your turn, you can pick up the ball as an object interaction. If it isn't held or is in possession by someone incapacitated, paralyzed, stunned, etc. I think if you're stunned, you automatically drop stuff anyway, though. But if you were holding the ball and you get paralyzed, then you can just take the ball from that paralyzed. If they're holding the ball, you can just take the ball from them as an object interaction. You don't have to actually waste action economy. During your turn, you can pick up the ball as an object interaction. During your turn, if the ball isn't held, during your turn, you can pick up the ball as an object interaction if it isn't held, period. During your turn, if the ball is held by an ally, you can take it as an object interaction, or the ally holding the ball can give it to you as is held by during your turn. If the ball is held by an ally, you can take it as an object interaction, or if you are holding the ball, you can give it to an ally as an object interaction. I'm going to break these all into separate statements just to be very thorough. During your turn, if you are holding the ball, you can give it to an ally as an object interaction. During your turn, you can attempt to take the ball from an enemy as a grapple attempt. During your turn, if an enemy is holding the ball, if an ally is holding the ball, you can, there you go, as a grapple. During turn, if an enemy is holding, holding the ball is incapacitated, paralyzed, stunned, etc., you can take it as an object interaction. When it's not your turn, you can when it's not your turn, if the ball during your turn, if the ball isn't held, you can, there you go, pick it up as an object interaction. That's the simple way of doing it. When it's not your turn, if the ball isn't held, you can pick it up as an opportunity attack, which is important because you can use Shocking Grasp on somebody and they would lose their opportunity attack, so they wouldn't be able to pick up the ball. That covers all the conditions in which you'd be able to take possession of the ball. The arena, the ball. Let's see, taking possession of the ball. And then we have scoring points, which is attacking with the ball. Attacking with the ball. The ball can be used, can be thrown. Again, we have it up here. It's a the ball is a tiny sized weapon that is less than 5 feet. It's considered an object, creature, ally for interaction. It has the ball is a light finesse thrown weapon with a range of 20-40 that deals 1 point of bludgeoning damage. As a creature, it always acts first in initiative. Right, so those are the rules for it being a weapon. So let's grab that. You can attack a creature or goalpost with the ball. See scoring points below. That's probably, I think, all the details that we need about the ball specifically. Now let's go to the goalpost. A 5 foot tall post that a thin post that occupies a 5 foot space. Cannot be damaged. Traits. Goal post traits. It's considered to be an object ally, an object, creature, ally, or enemy for interaction. It cannot be polymorphed. Moved or banished. The goal post can be obscured, but cannot be covered. It cannot benefit from full cover. So if something were to give it full cover, that would be illegal. You wouldn't be able to do that. But cannot benefit from full cover. Let's see movement below. Talk about cover. In all directions. There we go. Let's see, what else do we need? AC 10. And scoring point. We'll talk about damaging it and scoring points below. I don't think I need anything else there, do I? Let's see. What do we need to say about the athletes? Each team has an equal number of athletes from 2 to 5 per team. No athlete, no additional, spells, etc. that summon allies with their own, creatures, effects that have their own action economy cannot be used. See ban below. This includes familiars. Ranger beast companions, unseen servants, artificer turrets, etc. Athletes cannot be banished or teleported, plane shifted out of the arena. You can try the effect fails wasting the mana spent. Wasting the use, whatever. Wasting the resource. All damage taken is temporary HP. Use stacking concentration for spells from the 5-color mana spell points on DMsGuild. That increases the DC for your concentration checks as you add more spells that you're maintaining concentration on at the same time. So like a 5th level wizard can maintain up to a 3rd level spell. Like haste is a 3rd level spell, or you could maintain up to 3 1st level spell effects, which are each 1 mana each, which equals up to 3 mana. Doing so creates a concentration check DC of 13. So any saving throw that you make while maintaining concentration, regardless of what the saving throw is, has to equal 13 or higher to maintain concentration, whether you succeed the saving throw or not. So like if a goblin shaman hits you with a command spell with a DC 12 to resist the command, but you're maintaining a 3rd level spell, if I rolled a 12 on my wisdom check, I'll resist the command, but I will fail concentration, and my 3 levels worth of mana get dumped, and I lose concentration on everything. So you get so many spell points when you're using a spell point pool. Having that higher risk reward is actually a lot of fun. The player gets to decide how much risk do they want to take in stacking up mana effects. So like I could have a haste and a hold person and say conjure elementals on me at the same time as a 3rd level, 2nd level spell. That's 8 mana. I have to be a 15th level spellcaster to have 8 points of mana active in concentration at the same time. But if that little shaman goblin hits me with a command spell DC 12, that wisdom result has to be at least an 18, or I'm going to dump all those spells. So it's high risk, high reward. Keep in mind, in D&D 5e24, if I make a grapple or trip attack on you, I automatically hit. You have to make a strength or a dexterity saving throw to not get grappled or tripped. It's not a big deal to get grappled or tripped, maybe, but if I'm maintaining a 5th level conjure, like if I'm maintaining the cleric is maintaining a 5th level spirit guardian spell, dealing 3d8 damage per round, and it'd be 5d8 damage to anybody who comes into the effect. All I have to do is walk up and push you. And if you don't hit at least a DC 15 on your strength saving throw, you just lost that spell. But you have so much mana that you can just get it back easily. It's just maintaining concentration becomes the problem. So one of the big disparages between marshals and casters in D&D is that the concentration spells do ridiculously powerful things. So if you make concentration fragile, it adds more risk to the reward of using those concentration spells. And you reward the players for strategizing so that whoever's maintaining concentration on spells isn't taking hits. Even Toll the Dead? I think even Toll the Dead is like a charisma saving throw. Hold on, let me look that up real quick. I'm not actually sure there, but let's look up Toll the Dead as a cantrip, and I completely botched that. Toll the Dead. Tell me this is a saving throw. Wisdom saving throw. It's a cantrip. It requires a wisdom saving throw to take damage. Okay, so here's the kicker. If it's a wisdom saving throw and then you take damage, if you already made a saving throw for that spell, the damage that you deal doesn't also require, you don't double tap. so you don't also have to make a saving throw against the damage. So like if I get hit by a fireball, if I can maintain concentration through the dexterity save, then I don't have to worry about the damage to the damage that I take. But if my Barbarian walks up and cracks you for 30 points of damage, then now the minimum DC is 15 because I have damage, but that Constitution saving throw has to hit whatever the DC of your mana plus 10. So if I'm maintaining 8 mana, that hit is going to I have to hit at least a DC 18 on my Constitution saving throw. And like, say, for example, Warcaster gives me advantage when I make a Constitution saving throw to maintain concentration. That doesn't do anything for the Wisdom, the Charisma, Intelligence, Strength, and Dexterity saving throws I'm going to have to make. Let's look at Chill Touch real quick. That's another cantrip, right? Oh, that's a melee attack. Melee attack save. On a hit. Okay, so that isn't actually any kind of damage there. What else? What are the let's go to the spell list. I know Toll the Bell is obviously Toll the Bell is there. But let's look at cantrips real quick. There we go. Acid Splash, Dex save. Melee, range, Dex save. Create Bonfire, Dex save. Ranged, Wisdom save. Friends, cantrip, Wisdom save. There you go. Hit somebody with Friends. It doesn't matter if they succeed or not. It's them triggering the saving throw on their concentration that you're trying to force. So cantrips are basically, I can shit test your concentration every round just by tossing a cantrip at you. What else we got? Frostbite, Constitution save. Gust, Strength save. Infestation, Constitution save. Light, oh that's funny. Dex save. Lightning Lure, Strength save. Mind Sliver, Intelligence save. So I think the only thing we're missing here is a Charisma saving throw so far. Con save off Poison Spray, we know that, right? Dex save off of Sacred Flame. And is there a Ka save? Dex save off Starry Wisp. Con save off Thunderclap. Wiz save off Toll the Dead. Vicious Mockery, Wisdom save. Word of Radiance, Constitution save. 5-foot emanation. Each creature of your choice that you can see in it must make a Constitution saving throw. There you go. So the damage isn't really important. It's just shit testing their concentration with different saving throws. So if you, like, that's a druid. That druid's not going to have dex saves. Okay, cool. Let's hit him with dex save spells, cantrips. So we're constantly shit testing them on whatever it is that they're maintaining concentration on. You see how that works? So yeah, stacking concentration like that, big risk, big reward. That's just one of the aspects of the color mana system that we have. Oh, and for people that are interested, again, those rules are here on the DMsGuild. They all have a 100% free preview. Just crack open the core mechanics and then click on variant concentration, and you can take a look at how that works. But I've ran multiple campaigns from level 1 to 20 using those mechanics, and they work really well. So they work all the way through 20th level. It's really great when you've got a 16th, 15th, 16th level wizard that's worrying about casting something higher than 4th level because they're not sure they're going to be able to make the concentration check. Like that's a fun place to have super high level characters where they're having massive risk reward for the type of stuff that the D&D game system just assumes that they're going to be able to get away with. We're adding more conditions and variables that makes being a spellcaster more difficult and more risky. And instead of them being fragile with hit points, they get to stay alive longer because they have a lot of survivability in 5e. So the way that you make casters fragile is by making their concentration vulnerable. And this is the best way that I've found to do that. And it's actually really effective. And by allowing them to stack concentration effects, it makes it worth them, like they're going to want to risk it. They're going to want to, they're going to try to push that envelope to see if they can get away with it. They always do. It's super fun. It's just a way to make it, it's a lot more aggressive, but it's more fragile, and it uses up their mana pool better because they have spell points. Spell points are very versatile. If all you do are instant blast effects, they are a chain gun and they can do shitloads of damage, but not any more than what the martial characters can do with the martial power system. So those are actually in balance with each other. It's the concentration debuffing and buffing effects that really make the casters more powerful in combat than the martial characters. So it makes it more dangerous and risky to use them, because if you're just going to get your shit shot down, then at best you're just having to burn your action economy every round trying to get your spells back up. So you have to start deciding, is it really worth it to me to burn another round of action economy to get the Spirit Guardian shield back up? Well, if my team is in position to exploit it, yes. But is my concentration going to get disrupted again before their initiative comes around and can make use of that strategy? Suddenly, Spirit Guardian or Conjure Animals isn't a slaughter fest anymore. The Cleric and Druid are now under extreme stress to not draw a bunch of aggro saving throws just to shit test their Spirit Guardian that's up and running. Having a couple different type of cantrips on the enemy teams, plus grapple and tripping effects like a javelin that you can throw into the Spirit Guardian effect that triggers the topple mastery that knocks them prone. That's a strength saving throw that they have to make, which could not only knock them prone, who cares, but take away their Spirit Guardian spell. Now they've wasted their action economy and are exposed because they aren't mobile. And your advantage to hit them while they're on the ground, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's fun. Try it out. It's super fucking fun. So that's athletes. Let's see. Use all abilities. Let's see. What do I want to say about the athletes? Temporary hit points. So you all roll initiative. Let's see. Oh, no weapons, armor, or components allowed in the arena. See banned list below. And as we mentioned above, the arena itself acts as a spell component, as an arcane, as a spell focus. So inside the arena, all data is temporary. The arena is considered a spell casting focus for casting athletes. So you can't cast spells that consume material components. You can't cast spells that have a gold piece value with it. So, because you can't bring anything in. So if it's not consumable and it doesn't have a gold piece value, spell casting focus can be used to cast that spell. The arena itself is considered a spell casting focus, so your spellcasters don't need to bring any kind of material components in with them, and their hands aren't going to be full. So there you go. Tiny lesson can't be damaged. Considered an object. Ally. Considered a spell casting focus. In case that matters. Cannot be removed from the arena, such as rope trick, banish, etc. That might be a little redundant, but it's just, you need to call it out. Cannot be immobilized. cannot be anchored in place, but can be paralyzed or stunned, etc. So you can't make it so that you can't pick up the ball and throw it or run with it, but you can paralyze the ball so that it doesn't run on its own. So that's totally viable, because it will automatically fail its saving throw if you try. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. I need to blow my nose real quick. Yeah, you can't bring in weapons with you, but we have a means for you to have weapons. As one of the martial powers that we've crafted with for the martial mana system is to basically create weapons out of force. So you can create weapons to attack with if you need them, but you can always punch for 1 point plus strength damage. And the martial power system lets you spend mana like a paladin to ramp up the amount of damage that you deal, either with your unarmed attacks or with the ball when you throw it. Just like the rogue, if you can get sneak attack on the goalpost by having advantage to attack, you can deal sneak attack damage, making it more likely for you to overcome any temporary hit points or damage reduction to deal damage to the goalpost to actually score a point. Similarly, any martial character can dump mana to ramp up the amount of damage that they deal when they throw or hit with the ball, so that you are, again, ramping up the damage that you deal to overcome temporary hit points or any damage reduction. So you don't get to bring weapons in with you or armor, so everyone's super squishy. It's very easy to hit each other in this game, so dealing damage is pretty simple. Damage reduction, of course, and stuff like that is still in place. Blade Singers, Barbarian Ragers, and Monks obviously are going to have the best armor classes in the game, but it's still going to be like 18 or less. So it's highly likely that you're going to be hitting each other if attacking each other and killing each other is your strategy to score. Again, if all of your opponents are dead, they can't stop you from scoring a goal. But when you do score that goal, everyone resets back to their starting positions, and all temporary hit points is drained, so everyone is back up to 100% again. So if your team is getting your ass kicked through TPK, your best strategy, instead of standing your ground and trying to win a losing fight, is instead get mobile and score a point so that you reset the round, so you reset the match and you get all your temporary hit points back so that you haven't taken any damage. Wizards, for example, that blow all of their mana on trying to fireball the enemy team down knowing that the ball won't be damaged, that's great and shit until you run out of mana, because even though all of our temporary hit points reset each point, your mana doesn't. So you only get one long rest. You have one long rest after the match. So like you can run match after match, and every new game is considered a long rest. But you only you get halftime. You get a short rest at halftime. So like monks and martial characters that get mana back on a half rest get all their mana back, but like the wizard, for instance, 6th level wizard is only going to get 3 mana back because arcane recovery is only going to give you 3 mana back at 6th level. So at 6th level you'll have 15 points of mana, and then you get 3 back on half rest. So you could lob 5 fireballs, and then when you take your at half period, you get 3 mana back for a 6th fireball, but that's literally all the mana that your wizard has. If that isn't able to kill your opponent enough for you to score enough points to win a game, that character is now just going to be a little cantrip monkey, or basically throwing a ball to allies. So you really have to pay attention. Like, what is your strategy? How are you going to win? Every team is going to have a full caster on there. Carrying counter spell around with you is super useful, even though it has a pretty short range. The arena is pretty small, so the enemy team might be able to get off an AoE damage spell on you offhand. But if once they close distance, you aren't going to be able to use that AoE stuff so easily, because you can kill your allies as much as yourself, unless you have a sorcerer using Careful Spell. in which case you're able to whittle each other down. Like there's meta strategies to be able to see how this works out. And we're doing playtesting on my Discord to find, is there any meta strategy that's so good that it can't be beaten at different tiers of play? And if so, we need to look at, like, would we ban that spell? Is that something that needs to be avoided? So just to see if it breaks the game. So far, we've had Fireball sorcerers using Careful Spell, and they haven't been able to get through the healing because there's so much healing in the game now in 5e2-4 that if you throw a 3rd level Fireball and my 6th level character survives it, because I'm probably going to survive it, then I'll be able to heal. My full casters will be able to heal us back up, so it neutralizes the Fireball damage. It's like, who's going to run out of mana first? It's a really interesting cat and mouse, but we haven't really seen. We run a lot of games, so we can find all these different loopholes and potential problem areas to address if necessary. So far the rules themselves seem to be ironing out pretty well. No armor, weapons, components allowed. All the damage is taken is temporary. We can take the spells, etc., and summon blah blah blah. We can take that down to the ban list in here. Hold on. There. Okay. Let's see. Goalposts, I think, should be in front of the ball. Again, these you can read along with this. This is a read-only Google Doc, and this is literally what we're working inside right here. And here's all the rules for converting characters to the color mana system, including martial characters using the 5e2-4 rules. We'll eventually be building these into PDFs that we'll publish on the DMsGuild. We'll be doing all the artwork for these books here online Monday through Fridays in the mornings once we get to that point. So if you guys think that stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to keep tabs on what it is that we're doing, so you can keep updated on where we're at with the game. And you can join my Discord server if you want to play test this stuff on your own or with me specifically. I'll be doing this on Saturday mornings, 9:30 a.m. minus 8 UTC Pacific time in Seattle. Here's my Discord server, free to join. Just tool down to the Strixhaven Mage Tower playtest sign up and be welcome to join in. We're starting with 6th level characters right now, and we'll just ratchet up 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, all the way up to 20th level characters. And we'll just keep running Mage Tower. We'll just go from level 6 to 20 and see what goes wrong and fix it when it does. Athletes, the ball. Let's take the athletes down past the ball. All temp HP is healed after each point scored. That way you don't spend a lot of time not playing the game. If we think of other things we need to add in for the athlete, we'll add them in. Let's move to time. Let's see. Halftime. The game is broken into 2 halves. Gain benefit of a short rest between halves. Gain benefit of a long rest between each game. Each half. Long rest between each game. Roll initiative at the start after each goal scored. Let's see. At the start of each half and after each goal scored. Let's see, 1 round of combat is 6 seconds as usual. There is no, let's see. See win conditions for timed games. Movement, maybe that should be under, yeah, talk about goalpost cover, and here in scoring points, talk about goalpost cover. Let's see, movement. All athletes start on their goals tower, and again, looking at here's the tower. So each 5 feet. So your characters are going to either be occupying space with the goal, or somewhere on this slope, either forward or backward. Obviously, forward is facing towards the enemy. The ball starts on the half line. Any position, including the space occupied by the goal. No, you can't. Sorry. You can move through the goal space, any position not occupied by the goal or another athlete. The ball starts at the center of the half, at the half line, at the half field, at the half arena line. The ball is squad. The ball always acts first in initiative, regardless of roles, regardless of athletes' initiative roles. That's important, so the ball is chaotic at first. Movement. An athlete starts on the athlete starts on the goal's tower, any position not occupied by the goal or another athlete. The ball starts at the center of the half arena line. Using its movement and dash action to move 20 feet in a random direction before athletes act. All athletes can use reactions even if they have not yet acted So you always have your initiative up and running. Or you always have your reactions up and running, even if you don't. So if someone's able to run in, grab the ball, and throw at the goalposts, all of the opposition is going to be at the goalpost with opportunities to block the shot coming in because they have their reactions available. So you can't catch somebody off guard and score a quick point and reset the match. That doesn't work. The ball starts at the center of the half line arena line. Whenever the ball isn't in, whenever an athlete how do I want to word this? During the ball's turn, if it isn't held by an athlete, it runs in a random direction. It moves 10 feet plus come on, Kearney, plus dash 10 feet in a random direction. Roll 1d8. Even to the left. Roll 1d8 for cardinal direction. So the ball would start at the center of half court, which is here. And then we'd roll a d8 since it always goes first. This is how a round would start. Roll a d8. I rolled a 1. So let me do this right. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I roll 1, the ball would go 5, 10, 15, 20 feet in this direction. And since it has to occupy a square, if it's going this way, it goes to the right. If instead I had rolled 5, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and it would be in this square. So up is to the right, down is to the left. That's how you get it, but we start in the center point. So that's how our ball moves. So I rolled a 1, so it'd go 5, 10, 15, 20. So now, whichever athlete gets to act first, the ball isn't on the center point. The ball is already running like hell away from everybody in this direction. And it's inside of a force cage, so when it hits the wall here, it can't go any further. So, direction, if it hits the force wall, it stops its movement this turn. So 20, it can't obviously get there in one round. So how long? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So it takes 3 rounds for the ball to run in one direction to hit the nearest wall. Let's put a center point on the field here. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Let's go with a square. Maybe I need to add an extra 5 feet to the field so that it just automatically is on the center point. That might actually be a pretty good idea. Let's do that. Hold on. Yeah, let's just do that. Jag this jig up through here and just tack on an extra 5 feet for the whimsy of it, shan't we? There, 215. Now half court occupies. That's totally gonna work. There. Better. And that's where the ball starts. So it can either, if I rolled a 1, 5, 10, 15, it's just gonna run down the half field line. And let's grab this and scooch it 5 feet. There. This was a ton of fun. The testing that we did last Saturday, it was actually a lot of fun. It was a 2v2. I was playing a druid, druid and a moon druid and a berserker barbarian, and the two players we had were playing a draconic sorcerer and a multi-class 3rd level shadow monk, 3rd level gloomstalker ranger, and so they were all 6 levels. So 6th level sorcerer, 6th level moon druid, 6th level barbarian, and a 3rd level monk, 3rd level ranger, and it was fun. The sorcerer and the monk ended up winning. But they had to do so for scoring points. They almost got TPK'd twice, but they were able to persevere enough to be able to score points and bounce out of there and reset their hit points. So they didn't get actually killed by the enemy by the NPCs at any point. But it was close. It was a lot of fun. Let's push these up out of the arena like that. Let's see. As a 20-foot normal range, which is what we have the norm range here, and then we have the disadvantage range for the long range for throwing the ball here. Movement, there we go. The force wall stops and movement ends. When the ball is thrown, it, unless it is caught or hits the goal post, it travels a maximum 40. It travels a maximum 40 feet. So, like, if I have the ball and I'm here and I take a shot at the goal. That's 5, 10, 15, 20. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So if I miss the shot, it'll end up here. And that could happen because the goalie could increase the armor class of the goalpost. It could reduce the damage to 0 so that it hits the goalpost, but it doesn't actually deal damage. At which point that would mean that it would actually stop here, and then the goalie, it'd be very easy for the goalie to pick it up. Yeah, but if you throw the ball and you miss the goalpost, it'll go its full 40 feet no matter what, unless it's intercepted somehow. Let's see, unless it is caught or hits the goalpost, it travels a maximum 40 feet. The maximum 40 feet of distance. Let's see. The arena cannot be damaged or reshaped, such as move earth, earthquake, but obstacles can be added. See movement below. Such as wall of stone, force, what's the word I'm looking for? Spike growth, etc. See movement below. So going down to movement, where we're working on right now. If obstacles are created in the arena, they cannot enclose, they cannot fully enclose the goalpost. Or ball. It's like if I created a wall of force around my goalpost, I could say that would be legal because a character could still get into by taking 5, 10 feet of movement to get into this space. Now the defense would then be like how to keep players from getting in. So you're creating a choke point here, but I could also like hit it with like a disintegrate spell or whatever to get rid of it. A wall of stone, for instance, is only 10 feet high, so it becomes an obstacle, but I could climb over it. But I would not be able to fully enclose. Again, could not fully enclose. This is illegal. If I have more squares, then I know I could create a small maze. For instance, I could do something like that. It's not fully enclosed. Now you have to navigate through the maze to be able to score points, or dispel the wall, or destroy it, or climb over it, or fly. That's why the ceiling is 40 feet high for fly, so that you can get over obstacles by spending mana to do so. Wind Wall was a useful spell. If you throw up a wind wall literally right here, like you could have it like stretched, I think like 40 feet across. So now if the enemy wants to hit the goal, they either have to physically move through the wind wall to do a melee attack, or they have to go all the way around because the ball is tiny size and a wind wall will automatically reject any tiny size thrown objects that are fired or thrown through the wall. It automatically gets deflected. There. So we'll probably have to create some examples. So that takes care of the goalpost cover. Scoring points. A point scoring goals. A goal is scored when you hit and deal damage to the goal, to a goalpost. One point for each goal scored. Temporary damage. If the damage dealt is reduced to 0, no goal, even if the ball hits. The ball to a goalpost with the ball. The ball can be used as a weapon to make a melee or thrown attack. 1 point for each goal scored. A goal is scored when you hit and deal damage to a goalpost with the ball. The ball can be used as a weapon to make a melee or thrown weapon attack. Targeting the goal, targeting a goalpost to score a point. A goal is scored when you hit and deal damage to a goalpost with the ball. If the damage dealt is reduced to 0, no goal, even if the ball hits. To deal temporary hit points are reduced before any damage is dealt to a goalpost. 1 point for each goal scored. I think that covers it. Winning. All athletes start on their start a match, and after a goal is scored on their goal's tower, the ball starts at the center of the half line. There, that should cover the language there. I'm trying to be as redundant as possible so that it's recurring information, so it sinks in. Winning. Let's see. Winning variant rules. Winning variant win conditions. Variant styles. So we'll call it that. Winning / variant styles. That probably works. Let's see. Winning a match of Mage Tower there are different win conditions for a match of Mage Tower. Choose one. At the beginning of a match. Let's see. Timed. One hour match. Oh, we'll do it this way. Timed match. Let's see. A match lasts 1 hour. Half time after 30 minutes. Whichever team has the highest score at the end of 1 hour wins. If the score is tied, next goal wins. Best of 3. No time limit. Whichever team scores 2 points first wins. Half time after 2 points. If neither team has won. Best of X. No time limit. Whichever team scores X points first wins. Half time. After 1/2 X. Plus 1 points scored. So win half. Best of win halftime. Best of 3 wins with 2, halftime after 2. Best of 5 requires a win of 3, and then halftime after 3 points. Best of 7 wins with 4, halftime after 4 points, etc. This takes a long time. I don't recommend more than 5. Because if your normal combat is supposed to take 4 rounds of combat, scoring 3 out of 5 points, that could potentially take you 12 rounds of combat. So that's a long battle. A best of 3, that's going to be at most 5 points scored. That could be up to 10 rounds. Depending on how many people you have playing, that can become a ridiculous amount of time. So if you have, if we have, like, say, winning time match, which is recommended for 4v4 or 5v5. Hey, what's up? Hey, Steve, it's good to see you. Recommended for 4v4, 5v5. So you have so many people that are playing, you're going to spend a lot of time just each, since that's effectively like 8 or 10 characters on the battlefield with character action economy, and no like group attacks or anything like that from the DM. Each character is going to use up their action economy each initiative. One round might only be 1 to 3 points. So that'd be very familiar with Best of X. 2v2. Recommended 2v2 or 3v3. Because 3v3 or 2v2 are small enough teams that you can score, 3 to 5 points and have it be a decent combat and take maybe an hour of combat to do it. So it like this best of 3 and 1 hour match, that's basically the same. Let's do this. Best of 3 and 1 hour timed are very similar in duration. It's like you don't want to have, like in basketball, you can have like a score of like 120 versus 210 in a 1 hour in a 1 hour match. But our action economy in D&D takes longer to process than for us to actually take shots in a basketball, right? Because we have to do all the math and stuff like that, and it's tactical and it's more drawn out. It would be a lot more satisfying if you're going to have a lot of combat. Like if you're going to drag this out, like to be like a full like 3 hour session that this is all you're going to do. It would be better to have 3 shorter games of best of 3 or 3 games of 1 hour time limit, and then have the best of 3 games inside of a 3 hour block of time, than to have a best of 7 and that take like 2.5 hours to process and then have some leftover time. Like it's a combat simulator, and you can, if you keep it like best of 3 or 1 hour matches, you can set up a block of time and run multiple matches with shaking in different characters and mixing up with your, what it is that you're doing, and make an actual like structured ladder, like a progression ladder towards a championship if you wanted to. So our intention is to run is to have a 3 hour session from 9:30 till 12:30 that we run on Saturday mornings starting this weekend. Which we'll try them both. We'll try 1 hour matches and see if that ends up being around best of 3 anyway, to make sure that math consistently works out. But the intention is to go with timed matches. So you have an hour to score as many points as you possibly can. And it's probably going to be somewhere around 5 or less points, which would mean that best of 3 is realistic inside that time frame as well. But we need to do more testing. So we had time for 1 game last week. So hopefully we'll be able to have multiple games, at least 2 games with some instruction time and, roughness going and building new characters and shit. 6 level characters off the rough. Like when I ran, I could have acted so much more efficiently than I did. It's just like, I have to think back, like, how did I use my action economy and how could I have sequenced my actions better to get more efficiency out of it? And when you get really good with a specific athlete, you're going to be able to optimize their movement and be more effective with them. And then once you optimize your action economy, then it's like, what powers and spells am I using with that action economy to optimize my impact? And that could take like 5 or 6 games to actually build a well-skilled athlete at that level. We'll see. But it's definitely a different way to approach combat. D&D 5e combat with different objectives. So that's our best of, that's our winning condition, variant styles. And then we have ban lists. So spells, etc. that summon allies. Let's see. We can get rid of all of this. This is no longer relevant. That's no longer relevant. The timing, that's all. Let's see. Ban list. There are various spells, powers, feats, and abilities that are banned. If a character has these options, they cannot be used during a match of Mage Tower. Banned feats. Banned powers. Banned spells. Banned abilities. Ranger Beast Companion. Artificer. Eldritch. Cannon, because it acts on its own action economy, and it's a weapon. You can't bring them in. Artificer, Battlesmith, Iron Defender, sorry, I had to pop my ear. Let's see. Ban spells. Any summoning that adds creatures with allies, objects with action economy, even if commanded. Any spell that removes an athlete or the ball from the arena, such as banishment, rope trick, plane shift, teleport if targeting a destination outside the arena. But like teleporting to the goalpost, that'd be fine. Maze. Does Maze actually banish you? Hold on. Let's look that up real quick. Yeah. Where'd you go? There you are. You banish a creature that you can see within range into a labyrinth plane. Yeah, so that doesn't work. Demi-plane. Imprisonment. Etc. Catapult. see modified spell below. Let's see, any anchor cannot target the ball with anchor, but targeting athletes is okay. Anchor, for those that don't know, is a martial maneuver. It's a third rank power, and so a martial channeler can channel this power at 9th level as a third rank power, and it is a reaction power. As a reaction to a creature that you can see moving, teleporting, or shifting planes, whether voluntarily or forced. Before doing so, it takes 1 power die of damage per mana expended this way. So it'd be 3 mana, so it'd take 3d8 damage. And must succeed a charisma saving throw. If it fails, it can't move, teleport, or shift planes until the beginning of their next turn. A falling, flying, or swimming creature targeted with this power remains fixed in the space it occupies until the duration ends. And you can choose to forego dealing damage if you want to save a friend from falling, for instance. But if you target the ball can't move, which is illegal. So you could use anchor to stop it, to lock an athlete in place, but not the ball. Banishing Strike is another power. Is a 4th rank power, which is your weapon can deal force damage, increases the damage by 1 power die per mana, which would either be 4d8 or at 17th level 4d10, up to 5d10 damage. The creature is banished, so that alone takes it away and incapacitated. But you can't banish anybody though. Banishing Strike, we can't remove Banishing Strike. Let's see. Any power that removes an athlete or the ball from the arena, such as Banishing Strike. Let's see if there's any other powers in here. I don't think there is. Incorporeality. I think that might be one we need to shut down. Let's look at it. Ghostwalker. While sustaining this power, you become incorporeal as a translucent image of yourself, gaining resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing damage. You can move through other objects and creatures as if they were difficult terrain. Any round you end within an object, you're ejected from the space, returning to space. You cannot touch the ground, blah, blah, blah. Kicker. While sustaining this power, you can channel 2 mana as an exploit to become ethereal until the beginning of your next turn. Ghostwalker. The ethereal, Ghostwalker, kicker, etherealness. Anything else? Checking. There's so much in here that's so fucking good. Like extended reach is a sustained power. So like at 1st level you get 1 mana, 5th level 2, 9th level 3, 13th level 4, 17th level 5. So for each point of mana that you put into sustaining this power, and like that 9th level you can have up to 3 mana sustained at the same time. So if I were a 9th level character, well, we're having 6th level characters at first, so it would be up to 2nd rank power or 2 mana worth of powers. So extended reaches, you can extend your melee weapon reach by 10 feet per point of mana sustained this way. You can channel the moving target reaction power by expending 1 mana. That's a side thing. But the extended reach is basically if I put 2 mana into it, instead of having a 5-foot reach, I now have a 15-foot reach, which vastly expands my ability to make grapples on the ball to pick up the ball from somebody, or to block shots on the goalpost if I'm acting as a goalie with extended reach. Very, very useful to have. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here. I've got snot in my head, and I'm getting over a cold, and the draining's clogging my ear right now. It's really obnoxious. I don't think there's anything else here. Oh, telekinetic bubble. Targeting the ball or goalpost. Any spell with consumable components. Any spell with components costing more than 1 copper piece. Any summoning that adds creatures. Any spell that removes an athlete or the ball from the arena. The catapult spell. Odaluk's Resilient Sphere. I don't know if Odaluk already qualifies as a no-go. A glass sphere, so that's fine. It's not consumable, so we have to call it out specifically. We can't use that one because you can't target the ball or the goalpost. Cannot damage mascot athletes. Conditions affecting the athlete are automatically end. No. Don't have to worry about that anymore. What does interpose do? Hold on. You better check on that one. Boom. Interpose. Interpose is a reaction. Let's look at it. Interpose. As a reaction to when an ally within reach of your melee attack takes damage from a source you can see, you can take any portion of that damage for the target and gain resistance to it. No, that's fine. Interpose is perfectly fine. Banishing Strike is not. So that interpose power that you can pick up as early as first level, again, right here it says you take damage for the opponent, up to as much damage as you want. So you could kill yourself keeping the goal from taking any damage, because the goal is considered an ally if you choose. So as long as you're within melee reach, you can use interpose. So them attacking the goalpost is instead going to deal damage to the goalie. It might be more efficient just to deal damage to the goalie directly, and when they die, go ahead and hit the goalpost with the ball to score the point, they automatically get all their temporary hit points back. They sit up, they're fine. We all reset and we have another match. But having interpose is like interpose and extended reach are two like super useful powers to pick up for a goalie. Anything else in here? Like Feinstein creates something. Sure, rope trick. Spiritual weapon should be fine because it doesn't actually act on its own and it can't actually do anything. So I'm okay with that. We already talked about all these. Windwall's fine. Oh, no dome or sphere. Panels are okay. Hallucinatory terrain is okay because it doesn't actually modify the field. We determined that. Yeah. Polymorph can be used, just not against the ball. Polymorph. Shape change. Cannot target the ball. Targeting athletes is okay. Yeah, animate objects is not okay. Let's look at any life shell again real quick. An aura extends from 10 feet. Emanation for the duration. The aura prevents creatures other than constructs and undead from passing or reaching through it. Yes, that one's no good. Anyway, objects no good, no good. No more sphere. Planes are okay. Good. We won't be able to do Magic Jar anyway. Now keep in mind, these are just the rules. If you're just playing PvP style, there is no ongoing campaign. The rules are the rules. We just operate inside of that. And you're just going to choose characters that don't have these things. If you're in a campaign and your characters just happen to be playing a game of Mage Towers, they could have Wall of Force or Anti-Life Shell or all these things. And it's part of their character. They're just going to choose not to use them. But as a DM in an ongoing campaign, you could also have people that cheat. And if they can get away with cheating, like using a spell, power, feat, effect, or like sneaking items in, these are things that you can do, but if you get caught, you're disqualified. You automatically lose because you're cheaters. But if you can find a way to pull it off, you can go ahead and do it. You can potentially create interesting campaign scenarios there. But right now, we're just testing this as a standalone PvP White Room vacuum effect. Where we don't assume this is inserted into an ongoing campaign, or if it is, it's kind of like in a separate gear. That this is just scratching the combat itch, and like maybe you have like renown that you gain for winning matches or something like that, so you can increase like college credits or / renown in your college to gain access to additional Bastion facilities inside of your college sooner than your character normally would be able to, for instance. Or create other sort of unique rewards. Mirage Arcana creates a duplicate. That's I get that. Reverse gravity. Do you get to save to get out of reverse gravity? Because if you can save out of it, I'm okay with it existing. Reverse gravity. You gonna pull that for me? Oh, this is class. Sorry. Of course. Spell name. If a ceiling or anchored character, object reaches the sign for ceiling, then it hovers there for a duration when the spell ends. Affected objects and creatures fall downward. Spell reverse gravity to a 50-foot radius, 100 feet high cylinder, centered on a point within range. All creatures and objects that are in that area that aren't anchored to the ground fall upward, reach the top of the cylinder. A character can make a dexterity saving throw to grab a fixed object it can reach to avoid fall upward if a ceiling or an anchored object is encountered in their upward fall, the creature or object strikes it just as if they were falling downward. If an affected creature or object reaches the cylinder's top without striking anything, it hovers there. And it is a 100-foot high, but our ceiling is 40 feet. So you can crawl out of the reverse gravity effect, and it would cause you to fall 40 feet. So that's okay. Okay, I'm okay with that. Reverse gravity is fine. Simulacrum we know is no good. Clone, that adds people to the battlefield, is no good. Democlane, Earthquake, Maze, we know those are no good. Tsunami is okay. Astral Projection we know. Gate, Imprisonment. Power Word Kill is fine. Yeah, I think we're okay. Banned abilities. Banned feats, banned powers, banned spells. If there's other things that crop up, we'll suss them out as we find them. But I think this is doing okay. We have some sample athletes that we created, and it's 9 o'clock. So that's our new set of rules. This should stand pretty well. We're going to utilize these and test them, and if there's anything it's still rough. So as we go through this, we'll figure out the language, and we'll find any flaws, and we'll be able to spot fix this during the playtesting when we find flaws. This is already vastly improved from what we originally had. It's far more thorough. But I'm going to go ahead and cut stream for now. Rest my voice. I'm going to get some sleep so I can get over being sick. I'll be doing artwork in the morning, tomorrow morning, for our Eberron adventure. I'll also be doing that on Wednesday morning. I'll have Thursday off because of the holiday, spending time with family and friends. And then I'll be back on Friday morning to do more artwork. And then Saturday morning we'll be here playing playing Mage Tower on my Discord server, link down below. Yeah, Bob's your uncle. I'll see you guys on the other side. Cheers. I'm out of here for the night. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me, guys. I appreciate it.